What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Academy of Change, where we help you transform your life, grow, and really strive towards that best version of yourself. And I got a special guest for me on here today with me. He's a firefighter, a father, a husband. He coaches men to be superhuman fathers, which seems like just an amazing mission. And we're both in Arete, which is Ed Milet and Andy Frisella's group, like mentorship, entrepreneur excellence group of people just kind of striving to be better and do a lot of good stuff in the community and with their businesses. So I'm so excited to bring Chris Flores to the podcast. What's going on, Chris?
Right on. Well, thank you, man. I appreciate you having me. It's been nice to connect in Arete with like-minded individuals, and to get on your podcast is a privilege, man. So thank you.
No, absolutely. I'm grateful to have you on. And, I'd like to start with like the superhuman father stuff. Like it really seems like you have an awesome mission over there, that you're doing a lot of good things, like not even just transforming bodies, but like transforming mindsets and helping people like get rid of vices and, alcohol, drugs, porn, different stuff I saw on your page. Like, do you help people get through? I'd love for you to talk about that and just kind of, your guys' mission and what you do to really transform these lives.
Yeah. Well, first I'll give you like how I got into SHF and then what we're about there. So I didn't just jump into a fitness and training program off just straight, motivation and I'm a workout guy. I came in here because I was in a dark spot. I was in pain. I was under pressure. And I myself was one of these clients that come in here in pain and have to change. There's no like, I like to change. Like I had no choice but to change. And I had to change for my wife. I had to change for my kids, myself, my community, my workspace. So I made a massive mistake about 2 years ago that put me in jail. And that trajectory and the decisions I've made really altered the course of my life. And it's a decision I had to make. Do I own my mistakes and learn from it and move forward and better my wife, my kids, myself? Or do I progress and say, this happened to me, so now I'm going to fold. I'm going to go back to my vices. This is how it is. I'm going to stay at the firehouse. I'm going to be secure for the next, 15, 16 years. It's okay. I'm going to stay the same. Everything's going to be okay. You got a good job. Or it's like, no, man, that's selfish. Like, what's most important to you? Like, you're going to live this mediocre, average life your whole time, or you're going to actually go and produce for your kids? Because how my kids are raised is a direct reflection of me. How my marriage is, all that stuff is off my actions, off any father, anyone's the leader in the home. Like, you set the tone for your household, for your wife, your kids, and they're going to follow you, man. They're going to lead by example there. So you talk about generational curses and stuff like that. When these guys give up alcohol, they give up gambling, they give up infidelity, they're not passing that on to their kids anymore. So I had a decision to make, and I chose to wake the fuck up essentially and move forward. And then that pain that I was in was like, man, I'm probably going to lose my job, man. I just got convicted of a felony. What do? I'm going to lose my paramedic license. Oh my God. So I hired a fitness coach, Wes Watson, and was under him for a little bit. And he said, hey man, go check out my buddy Kyle. He's a fireman. He's doing the same thing. He's spreading the mission to fathers. And my mission all along was to make sure no father ever made the mistake I made, ever. And so when I contacted Kyle, he said, hey man, I'm not really hiring. I just started, only got, 80 clients or so. And I don't even know what I'm doing, to be honest. I'm just going off of the mission here. Our mission is a highly disciplined men's accountability group that produces the best version of yourself so you can turn around and give that to your family. I said, I'm in. I'm working for free. Let's do this. When do I start? So started working slowly, and then started just producing. We started scaling this, and now we're about just over 600 clients right now. It's about 18, 19 months old, and it's just kind of, I never look back. It's, we run 5 Zoom calls a week now. We get guys on here in, like I said, in real pain, not just weight-wise. The training and nutrition is a very small part of our program. We get guys in here that are saving their marriage, that are giving up those, like I said, generational curses of alcohol and gambling, infidelity, porn, all that stuff that's holding them back to actually show up as a father. And when they open that front door and they walk into their house, how their wife looks at them now, how their kids look at them. So all that stuff. And again, we use training and nutrition as like a small piece of that. but we really try and dig in to what pain you're under, what pressure you're under. And we crack that through using discipline, accountability, consistency. We call them non-negotiables. So every day, these guys have 5 to 6 non-negotiable items that you will hit every day. And we're going to hold you accountable to them. So whether that's getting up at 4:30, getting your personal development reading in, your power list, as we call it in Arete, your acts of service toward your wife, all that stuff gets done. And then obviously your workout, for us, it's like brushing our teeth, right? It's going to get done. So all this is done before our family even opens their eyes. Now we start our day in a service role instead of I need my selfish needs, right? So all of our stuff's done. So we start compounding this. And you compound that week over month over year, like the trajectory of your life will change. And then you surround yourself and you audit your circle of the people you're around, and you have no choice but to change. So my involvement with Superhuman Fathers came from that story, that past, and a dark spot. And now I've been able to turn around and help, all these guys in here in the testimonials, the transformations speak for themselves. And I opened up a chapter with first responders because a lot of my vices or issues came from, it's not the fire service, it's myself maybe folding into trying to keep up or be the best person I can in the firehouse. And maybe that pulls away from my family elsewhere. So I constantly, when I come home for years, man, I would put my wife in the service role. So I'd open the door, gone for 4 days, man, I made the money. I did everything. I was just gone. So now it's all about me. I need a beer. I need to take a nap. I need sex. I need you to take care of the kids. Why isn't the house clean? All this stuff. You start compounding that year after year after year. And all you first responder firemen out there, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Because you put yourself first when you do come home. It's backward. It's like, what does your wife need? Do you know your wife's needs? What does she need 3 days from now? What do your kids need? How are you present? Can you put your damn cell phone away and sit down with your kids for an hour and play trains or whatever it is? So that's the stuff we're teaching these guys every single day. We run that Zoom call on Fridays. We got military, cops, firemen, all across the country, man. We got clients in Dubai, India, Australia, all over the place, all over the country. So it's pretty cool to see. When I say it's pretty cool, it's like all of us have the same fucking issues. We all come to the table, and this guy's in New Zealand with the same issue I have. It's like, how do you combat that? And we this isn't a victim mentality group. This isn't a look at me, why me group. This is here's my issue. Here's the solution. And I'm going to take massive action to change it. So that's a little short snippet of SHF, but it's yeah.
That's fucking awesome, man. No, that's like a huge thing. Like, it sounds like you guys are impacting tons of lives. And I'd love to go back to like the vices, the addiction part of it. It sounds like, you were in pain. It's funny, like the story is like similar to mine in a sense. Like, I come from alcohol addiction, a lot of struggle with my body. I've been addicted to gambling, different things throughout the years as well. And so that's a huge piece of my like initial story as well, is like overcoming those things and really coming into like growth and coming into transformation and, finding Arete and really just striving to be better. And so I relate heavily with everything you're talking about. And I'd love for you to speak on like how you help some of your clients there and all of the Superhuman Fathers overcome some of these vices and overcome some of these addictions, and just kind of maybe some more tactics that you use with them on that side of things.
Yeah. So I'll just use alcohol as the most common, because it is the most common thing that people struggle with, whether you're a full-blown alcoholic, whether you're in denial of it, whether you need it. Maybe it's just a glass of wine at dinner. Like, if you still need that sedation, you still need that substance to kind of calm you down, because you can't be present in the moment. You can't emotionally control yourself. Your kids are going ape shit, throwing stuff. Your wife's maybe nagging at you. Like, your escape route is a beer. It's like, that's not how we show up. You got to provide a solution for your family. So how we combat that? But let's find out the root cause. Let's find out why you need that. Why do you need that? Is it you can't control your emotions? Is it because you think you had a hard day? Is it because you think you deserve it? So we try and like put on the table, like, what's at stake? Like, what would your life look like if you keep doing that and you keep compounding that? Like, do you want that life for your kids? You're going to pass that to your kids. If I keep drinking every Thursday and have a beer on the couch and watch football every single Thursday for the entirety of my children's childhood, they're going to do that. They're going to see that. It's okay. It's the norm. It's average, right? So it's like you got to ask yourself, what's your personal life going to be like? What's your kids' life going to be like? Are you going to continue that tradition and pass this down to your innocent kids that they need alcohol when times get tough? Like, man, to me, that's heavy. I don't want my kids to do that. I just, I was in denial too after my incident, which involved alcohol. I still didn't think I had an issue. I'm like, oh, I'll just have a glass of wine. It's okay. And I just made the commitment, last month. I'm done drinking. For how long? I don't know, but it's going to be over a year. Like, it doesn't serve me. There's no purpose. Look where it got me in the first place. And not saying you need to like completely just 0 to 100, because we've seen that, and that we know that doesn't work, right? And they just fold just like a diet or something like that. You go super strict and you try and fast for 18 hours or something, and you just cave in to a box of donuts, or maybe it's a 12-pack of beer or something. So you don't need to go full extreme. We're not an extremist freaking group where we just cut out everything, but we just try and tie the root in of why do you need that? And then we just break those down into simple daily habits, and just try and compound those. And the biggest one is just accountability. Like, we got to check in. You can show your face on a Zoom call. We'll ask you direct. Did you drink, dude? And if so, why? Like, this is like your third time showing up failing. So either you fucking fix it now, or we got to go have a conversation with maybe your wife, or maybe this isn't the program for you. This isn't your circle. So we try to just instill that hard discipline and tough love.
I love it. So you're like getting down to the root of it, and almost like fast forwarding to what's your life going to look like if you continue doing this and you pass this on to the generations below you. Like, what do you want your family, coming next to have to deal with these same issues that you're going through, and kind of get people to start quitting that way, along with the ultra, almost like discipline and accountability of the group. And like, hey, like, we're not going to put up with shit. Like, you guys are either in here and you're trying to change and become the superhuman father that you can be, or you're going to be in a different group, or you're going to be doing something else.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I say it's not really, a lot of guys think it's like, oh, this is a nutrition cult. Now, you guys are just go hard and work and wake up at 4 a.m. and just work out all day. It's like, no. We work out and we get our shit done before our wife and kids even open their eyes. And then the real work starts. That's what it should be. Like, your physical representation is a direct correlation to how you treat your wife, your kids, what your house looks like, your car looks like everything. Like, you walk into a room, you gotta, like, what are you representing? Like, we teach our guys all the time, what are your core values? What are your systems for when shit hits the fan? Maybe your wife's just in a mood. Like, what's your system when she's in that mood? What's your system when you're in an environment you can't control, and you got to control your food, your workout, your habits? So you can instill these systems, and then you just massively apply your personal standards to it. My personal standards don't mix with sedation or alcohol or skipping workouts or sleeping in. That's just not my standard. And you can live to that standard every single day. I'm telling you, man, your life will change.
I love it. How do you go about then helping everybody really set up their core values that make the most sense for them, and helping them like explore those and really lock in on those that are going to help them really live the best life for them?
Yeah. So I could speak on the first responder side, because when guys are brand new and they're in, we just put them on the spot. We ask them, hey man, what's your personal standards? What do you stand for? And then obviously the answer is I don't know. So then we can come up with them. But as far as values, I highly recommend you sit down with your wife and you come up with those values, because you got to get buy-in. It's not just you. It's you and your wife. So if you and your wife can come up with a set of core values that you guys want to represent, I can't tell you what those are. You guys got to come up with those on your own. And then when you have issues that arise, maybe your kid's lying or stealing or whatever it may be, here's your answer. It's your core values. Which one did he break? So grab him or her. Here's the value that you broke. Here's what it means to us. Here's why you shouldn't do it. Here's why it's important. Just like in business or anything else. You steal, lie, cheat, you're probably going to get fired, because probably that core value is integrity. So that's how just like the firehouse or whatever, you have standard operating procedures. Like, you got to have that within your home too. Like, so when you come up with those values with your wife, you can actually hold yourself accountable to those, and make a list, create it, throw it on the fridge, on the wall. It sounds silly. It may not be normal, but guess what? It's not what we are here.
No, absolutely not. No, that's good shit. It's you're running your life like a business, basically being like the CEO of your own life and really running
Like
that
Andy
shit.
Frisella, right? MFCEO.
Yeah. No, exactly. I love it. No, it's good shit. And I think it's just so huge. I've been big on that as well. Like when they've talked about in Arte, just really building those core values, setting up those core values and living by them. I have found myself falling off at certain points though. And so like falling into the old patterns at certain points. How have you handled that within the group and handled that within your client base? Like when people find themselves fall, like, you know, they're good for 2 weeks and then they're falling back in and they're good for 2 weeks, like getting that buy-in fully to their core values. Is there like some aspect to it of like you just need to fucking be more disciplined? Is there some aspect to it of like, you know what, maybe there's a few core values in there that don't make sense for you. Like maybe that's not what you really truly want. Like how do you kind of navigate that?
Yeah, so I mean that's pretty common in any program and friggin' life, right? You go hard for 2 weeks, you fall off, you're all about it. You post and text every single day, and day 17 hits, and you're a ghost, right? And nowhere to be found. It's like, man, what's the main driver? So what I found the main driver to be, at least in our guys, was like self-doubt. It's like, man, can I keep up with these guys? Why am I doing this? Am I really doing this? I don't have the results already in 14 days. I should just quit. Maybe this isn't for me. I can't do that. So how we basically suffocate that mindset is through structure. And like Ed Milet says, man, structure strangles self-doubt. And if you can, it's there's no hack, there's no secret. We don't sell any potions, pills, or powders. Here's your structure. Don't deviate. Don't compromise. Like, I'm giving you the answer. Here's your structure. If you hit this, you will win. Bottom line. Okay, then now we got to figure out why you aren't hitting that structure. You're letting your environment dictate your feelings, how you show up. You know what I mean? You're letting your standards dictate your emotions and stuff like that. And so if we can get to, remember, like we just said, the root cause, right? So you have your structure. Why are you deviating from your structure? Honestly, man, they just kind of being a little bitch. They don't want to hit their tangible items. It's like, you just told me you were just on a 15-minute Zoom call with me crying, telling me that your wife's about to leave you. Like, you should wake up with that pain every single day. You shouldn't need an alarm clock. You should get out of bed for that every day. You should get out of bed knowing that you aren't the greatest leader or father that you can be. There's always room for improvement. There's always tangible goals that you're trying to hit, whether that be business or your physical results or your nutrition. Like, and the best part about it, it never ends. Like, this shit never ends. You hit a benchmark. What's your next goal? What's your next goal? You just keep going on and on and on and on. There's no finish line. So when guys want to quit, we just basically just got to pull them back into the game. We got to get their head in the game, make them write down their structure. Then we make them post it. And then we make guys check in with them. And then we make them FaceTime us to show us what they're doing. Like, you talk about extreme accountability. That's what we do. You know, we got, like I said, just over 600 people, and you got, 500 something dudes on your ass asking you if you're getting up. Like, gonna work.
No, that's awesome. And let me ask you, what's your structure? Like, let's say you said, you have a big like morning routine before the kids even get up, before the wife even gets up. You've already knocked out a bunch of stuff. You've knocked out your non-negotiables. What does that look like for you?
Yeah. So right now, I mean, it changes over time. Cause like when your morning or your structure gets, starts to get, I don't want to say easy, but you kind of catch yourself going through the motions a little bit, checking boxes, then you got to change it. Right. So mine changes, every couple of months or so. But right now, I get up at 3:45, make my coffee. I do my personal development reading. Right now it's Arte notes. And then I'll check in real quick with like a client base, 10 minutes max. And then I'll go into like visualization and prayer for a little bit, about 15 minutes. And then I'll knock out my act of service to my wife. Sometimes maybe it's a note next to the coffee pot. Right now, I know her phone's on Do Not Disturb, so I'll just send a text message, some sort of any alignment of I'm proud of you, grateful for you, whatever, any sort of daily message. And you do that every day, Monday through Sunday. And then after that, I'm usually out of the house before like 4:40, usually out of the house, I'm working out. And then I'm home by 6. My kids get up at 6:15, 6:20. So done for the day. So I smashed all this stuff and then I'm done, right? So that is my structure right now. And then obviously throughout the day, there's a ton more, but at least I aligned myself. And that visualization, man, that changed my life. I'm sure you know when Andy and Ed talk about it. I try to visualize where I'm going because if you don't know where you're going, like kind of just stuck in the mud, you're just checking boxes. So
Yeah.
I try to visualize where I'm going at the end of the week, end of the month, 5 years, 10 years. So just cast a vision.
You just kind of visualize yourself like the next version of yourself, like in a week, in a month, in a year, in 3 years, in 5 years. Is that kind of what you do? Like you visualize yourself at the end, like having achieved those different milestones, or how do you kind of go about it?
Yeah, I visualize like when Andy Frisella said he visualizes his jet or his Lamborghini and the color of it and the leather of it and all that, like in detail. So I try to go like detail oriented, but then I kind of take a step back and I'm making sure that I'm doing tangible action items that's going to get me there during the day. To me, that's the most important part. I can visualize a freaking lottery ticket, right? Like that's not what we're talking about here. Like I want to visualize being like raising great humans, right? Contributing members of society. My wife wants a house out in wine country, like visualizing this house on top of the hill, like whatever it may be, like faith driven, all this stuff involved in our community, in our church, and just try to visualize all this and where I'm going to be and a leader in our community, a leader within SHF, someone that someone can rely on and go to when they're in the amount of pain, because I've been there and I know I can help them. So I try to visualize this daily and just start compounding that. It sounds weird. Man, you tell a fireman that, like, hey, man, you got to sit down and visualize. It's like you're going to get laughed out of the room, right?
Yeah.
And I thought it was a bunch of hocus pocus. And then you start doing it and it starts manifesting and it starts coming true. Like I visualize myself after like all the crap through the courthouse and the jail and all that crap. I was like, okay, what can I, like, oh my God, my life's going downhill, man. Like, what do I got to do? And I started slowly getting into the law of attraction in that book. And I started to like visualize, okay, I'm going to get out of this. I'm going to change my life through my habits, my consistency. I'm going to visualize myself like being part of some sort of program where I'm going to help people to make sure they never made my mistake. I'm going to help people at the firehouse, stuff like that. And like it's manifested. And here we are now, right? I'm going to visualize myself telling this story and helping people. And I'm going to go on platforms and speak and go on podcasts and speak about, like, here I am. It's going crazy. Me and my wife just spoke at we had a marriage retreat or event last week, our first one, and we got to share our story. And that's the stuff you visualize. It's crazy, man.
Yeah, I'm huge on that as well. I struggle sometimes with it, but I've been trying to visualize as much as possible and do my breath work, do my meditation every day. And I mean, it's been such a huge game changer for me over the last few years doing that as well. And I'd love to go back as well to what you said, when you were talking about your structure, your start of your day. And you said, and this is something that I personally haven't done a lot of. You said you switch it every few months because when it starts to become monotonous, when it starts to become the checking of boxes, the going through the motions, that's when you switch it. And that kind of sparked a thought inside. I'm like, oh shit, maybe I need to start switching my stuff. So I'd love for you to chat on what that, what kind of shifts that you make when you how what shifts to make when you actually go about those changes, when you find yourself in that checking box mentality.
Yeah. So mine came when I was doing 75 hard and I was, you do your 10 pages of reading and I felt myself just reading to read. And I would be checking the pages, like I'm on page 6. Okay, I got 4 more pages. How long is the next page? How long is it going to take me? And I would just read. I wouldn't really comprehend or do much. And I would close the book and be check the box, 75 hard box, right? Well, I read 10 pages. It's okay, well, this isn't working. So then I that's when the visualization stuff crept in. That's when I started okay, what else can I do? I stopped reading for a bit. And I would do more the call notes, the Arate call notes.
Yeah.
Or I'd read some sort of quick blog post, but a physical book, I'd kind of held off for a little bit because I did that for over a year. And I just felt myself just consuming instead of producing from it, a tangible action item. And then you get caught in the motions. And 75 Hard is a great example because you get on the app and you literally check the box. So if you can check the box with an intention that you did it to the best of your ability, it's like, and I know everyone out listening has probably checked that box and lied to yourself, but counted it. Like, let's be honest. Let's be real. So that's how I know, it's not really producing an outcome.
No, that makes sense. So just kind of add something, take away something, shift things a little bit. I was reading right before this, actually. I was doing some reading right before this, and I found myself doing that same thing of like, you know what? The last like week or so, this reading hasn't been as like intentional as just exactly what you were saying there. And so maybe I do need to shift the reading to something a little bit different, because I've been reading for like 2 years straight, out of personal development books. And so I'm sure there just comes that time where it's like, oh shit, like this, I'm just used to doing it all the time, that I need to just shift out a little bit, make that small little RTA call notes to be good.
Yeah, for you. I mean, you mentioned like breath work. Maybe you do about a breath work, and then
Yeah.
visualization, meditation, whatever. Maybe it doesn't have to be reading, you know? Uh, Shit, maybe you read the Bible. I don't know. Something way different.
No, that's really good. I like it. No, this is really good stuff, man. And like I said, I really appreciate you coming on, and I'd love for you to speak on, some of the other aspects of what you kind of help people with on like mindset. I know you said like the mindset's a huge part of the program as well. Is there certain things that you do with the guys to really help them, cultivate more of a growth mindset, cultivate just the type of mindset that helps them push through each and every day, and not have those struggles that so many of them kind of came to you guys with?
Yeah. So on the mindset side, I just straight up ask them like, "What do you want, dude? Why are you here? Like, what can we help you with?" And usually, the answer is, "I want a six pack and I want to get in shape." And then we just cut the crap right there. Like, no, you don't, dude. Like, why are you here? There's thousands of other fitness programs that will align you with that. Like this, this is more than a fitness program. You signed up and you paid for it. So why are you here? And it especially on the first responder side, takes a little bit longer to crack into these guys. And it's like, all right, fuck, I'm addicted to porn, dude, and I can't stop watching it. It's really affecting how I show up as a husband, and I look at it at work and all this stuff, So that's just an example. Maybe it could be gambling, infidelity, it could be shoplifting, whatever it may be, So, okay. And then you talk about the mindset side, and it just kind of goes back to like, let's ask yourself what your ass is going to look like if you keep continuing this. So why are you here? Are you here just for yourself? Are you here for a greater purpose? Are you here? Are you married? Do you have kids? Where are you at in your journey with your career? How old are you? Like all this stuff we try to compound and really create just this big vision. And I said, okay, well, here's what we're going to do. Here's your plan, A, B, C, D. I want you to follow this for X amount of time. And then I want you to see yourself so we can cast a vision of where they're going to be. And, we offer a 100-day, 6-month, or a year program, depending on where they're at. Okay, at the end of your 100-day commitment, here's where you're going to be at if you follow this. I need your buy-in. I need your trust. Look at our transformations, man. Look at our testimony. They work. Like, if you don't do this, it's because you quit. So I'm giving you the plan. I'm just asking you to run the play. So here's the vision, dude. I see you. And then we just lay it out. You're 180 pounds or yada, 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 your relationship, all this stuff. And then we give them the play. And then again, you just tie in massive amounts of accountability onto it. And you just hold their ass to the flame every single day. And usually it's going to, not I shouldn't say usually, like more times than not, that's going to at least wake their ass up to follow it. And then maybe they'll slip, they have the 2 weeks in, 2 weeks out, whatever it may be. And we can just grab them by the throat and bring them back in. Like, hey, dude, remember that conversation we had? You said you wanted to do this, this, and this. Where are you at? You're going to quit? You have 2-3 kids, dude, waiting on you. You're going to quit because you want to go drink? Like, you're being a selfish asshole right now, dude. Show the fuck up for your family. Like, right now. And then usually they'll get back into it over and over and over.
Just kind of that hyper accountability that, like you said, you have 500 other guys like on their ass. It's like, oh, I don't want to be the guy who's holding up the pack or the guy who's not following through on what he's supposed to be doing.
And you can't, you got to hold your word. You have to hold your word to yourself. If you keep breaking, and then I go tell my wife something, what's my wife be like, bro, you've broken your word 15 times in 3 weeks. You said you're going to start this diet on Monday and lose 8 pounds on Monday 17 times. You said you're going to stop drinking. You're still drinking. So she loses respect for you every single time you say that. You're harassing your family with your words every single time. It's all on you. It's all on your shoulders. Every single problem in your life is your fault. And when you can understand that and overcome that and not pass that shit on to your wife and kids, you're going to start winning. And that's how we play here. When, in Arte or Andy, whatever, you talk about playing for blood, it's like that's exactly what we do.
You get that extreme ownership and then keep those promises not only to yourself, but to everybody else in your fucking life. Because I think that's one of the biggest things is those promises. I think it's Ed who talks about that all the time, like keeping the promises, like how that's so important for confidence. And I used to be that guy who like would always, just push shit off and like, oh, I'll do that tomorrow. I'll do that next month. I'll do that in 6 months. And then all of a sudden I would get to that like 6 month period and be like, shit, like this single thing I pushed off for 6 months and it took me a minute to fucking do. Right. And over that time, my confidence had gone from like here all the way down to here just because I wasn't actually showing up as the person I wanted to be. And so I'm so big on that. I think that's so huge to just like, when you wake up and you say, I'm going to fucking do this shit today, like you follow through on it and you really actually go the extra mile and you stay up a little bit later if you have to, or you get up a little bit earlier if you got to get that workout done and you got a huge busy day and you don't have the time throughout the day to do it. Like, I think that's just so awesome.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, man. Good shit. Well, this has been awesome having you on. Like, I appreciate you coming on, and I'd love for you to just like let everybody know where they can find you, where you want them to go if they want to sign up for your program or talk about that. Like where can I send them?
Yeah, so I mean, Instagram is probably the biggest. My hashtag is like Flores _SHF, or just you can just type in Superhuman Fathers. I mean, for guys all the time, we tell them sign up, don't sign up. If you want to reach out and need help, that's what we're here for, man. It's not about, dragging you in. If you need help as a father, man, reach out. Like, we're always here to help you. We help people all the time that aren't in the brotherhood. So Instagram would be the biggest one for sure.
Awesome. Well, we'll take that below. And also kind of to finish up, I'm curious for you, you've clearly made some huge transformations and growth in your life, and especially over the last few years. What do you think is like, if you were to pinpoint one of the, let's say, top 1 to 3 things that have really led to that growth and that transformation, like what would you say?
My mistake, 100%. I got in a domestic violence issue where I hit a pot. I was like arguing with my wife, and I just got emotional control. Right, I had zero control over it. Arguing. Our marriage was already kind of in the slumps. We're already on the brink of a divorce, and we're yelling. And I hit this freaking pot. Hit her in the face, call the cops, get arrested for domestic violence felony. I was like, I was going to lose my job, paramedic license. And I don't even know if I am. Still going through it, to be honest. I'll be 100% transparent with you. It's been going on for almost a year and a half, 2 years. And that woke my ass up. I got arrested in my home, went to jail, had a restraining order for a week against my own family. And if that doesn't wake you up, man, I don't know. So I'm on a mission every single day to make sure no one's ever made the mistake I made. That's brought me to the faith side of my life. It's brought me to Arte. It's brought me around relationships, around people like yourself. It's made me accountable. And now I've had the opportunity to help, almost 600 people. And I wake up every morning and pinch myself saying, holy shit, man. And I want my kids to look back because they'll find out, man. My kids are 7 and 4. My wife is 16 weeks pregnant right now. And it's planned. We want our kids to look at us and be like, how the hell did you guys get through that? Like, you guys are in the mud. You guys are in the dark. Like, here's how we did it, man. We didn't quit. Here's what we did. We find what's important to us. Exactly what we just talked about. And that single moment was when I made that decision, looked in the mirror. I'm like, what route are you going to go, bro? You're going to go get divorced, chase tail, be a fireman, and make a secure amount? Or you're going to step the fuck up and be a dad, be a husband, be a father, be a leader? That's the route I took, man. I'll never go back. So my commitment and my goal is to every father out there, man, every marriage, every relationship with your kids, man, I'm here to help. So I put myself in a service role for the rest of my life.
Man, I'm grateful that you popped on here. That is, an awesome story. Sounds like you've just, God, made such amazing changes and that you're impacting so many lives out there. So thank you so much again, Chris, for coming on. If you guys enjoyed this, make sure you like, subscribe, rate us, share this with a friend, share this with somebody who's trying to change their life and could get in contact with Chris to do it. Appreciate you. Thanks again, Chris.
Yes, sir.